Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Boisterous coming to you with some Diamond League destruction out of the map Ohana LE. Spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner, we have Supaflyz as the red Terran, and up here in the top left-hand corner, we have SwansGoMoo as the blue Protons. And for some reason, I always forget to introduce Kadoink in my introduction, so screw it. Hi, Kadoink.
Hello, Boisterous. How are you doing? How are things going? I'm excited to be casting some StarCraft 2 with you. It's been a while since we've casted.
I know. We need to get back into it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very important.
These little co-casts, they're very important to me. I have a lot of fun doing them.
They're quite entertaining.
Yeah.
Looks like we have SwansGoMoo dropping his pylon at the front of his base, which I always say is a bad thing to do because you have force fields, you got surface area, and I'm not going to go into that rant again because I'm sure you've heard it at least 40 times. I'm sure the viewers have heard it like twice.
Oh, yeah, I've absolutely heard it a ton. There are pros and cons to both, but I do agree. I think that once you get into the higher leagues, there's not really as much of a need to do this sort of thing. Of course, against Protoss, you really want to be, against Zerg, you really want to be getting that wall up for like Forge Fast Expand. But, you know, Terrans have been kind of leaning towards 2-base, 3-base plays. You know, it's not early StarCraft where everything was 1-base, and you kind of did need a wall like that as well as a force field. So I think that it's a risk people can take, and he's actually building his gateway kind of away from the ramp, so, you know, ends up not being used as a wall anyway.
I'm lagging a little bit here, which is weird, but, you know, it's fine. It's fine. I dropped like 15 FPS.
It's understandable.
Yeah,
I actually reinstalled StarCraft 2, and it's helped a lot.
I might do that.
I haven't actually done a cast yet since I reinstalled it, but as far as being on the ladder and playing, the frame rate is much, much better. So for those of you who are having frame rate issues, if you haven't tried it already, just try wiping everything StarCraft related on your computer and reinstalling it.
So basically just defrag the program?
Yeah, basically just destroy the program. Documents, everything. The only thing I kept were replays.
Oh, nice. Alright, well as this gateway wraps up and the cybernetics core is started nicely on time, we see both players kind of just falling into standard play.
Yeah, so one thing we really want to be looking at is where is the Protoss player, or where is SwansGoMoo putting his Chrono Boosts. And it looks like he's putting them into probes, so that's a high indication that there isn't going to be too much early aggression from SwansGoMoo. And if Supaflyz had an SCV here scouting around, that would be one thing he should and would be looking for. And actually now he's putting some Chrono Boosts into the Cyber Core, so, you know, maybe he might be going for aggression at this point. But
and he's also dropping into the gateway too to get his stalker out faster.
Yeah, he is. So, this is a sign of aggression. Exactly what I was talking about. Definitely make sure you're watching the Chrono Boost, because that'll tell you exactly what's going on as far as the Protoss player is concerned, and it can help you deal accordingly. I like this little wall that Supaflyz has up. However, Stalkers are very, very good against Marines, and he's sending them across the map and actually Chrono Boosting out a second. So,
wow, that is actually really aggressive. Usually people stop at one Stalker. However, with this Marauder coming up and concussive shells, I mean, the Stalkers shouldn't be able to do really anything at all.
Absolutely. Marauders are just so good against Stalkers. In fact, the Zealot is going to come up a little bit before the concussive shell comes up, so the Zealot will be able to run away. And we'll see if he waits for the Stalker. It looks like he's not. He's going to take a lot of unnecessary hits on that Zealot. And I think this aggression is effectively shut down. Yeah, he's going to be running.
Yeah. With the second... Oh, actually, that was a Marine, but it doesn't really matter. With just one Marauder and concussive shells, you know, you don't want to risk losing any units, and that's really what will just happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we see 3 CCs coming out from Supaflyz, so we might see a very early expand along with a very fast saturation of SCVs and just kind of SCVing very hard. We even see him pulling all of his SCVs off of his refinery and not going for any more gas. He's just going to be going for a very heavy Marine play at this point, which is interesting.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about before. Terrans are really leaning towards this 3-base play, that sort of thing. And I wanted to ask you where you were timestamp-wise, because I have him getting up a second refinery and putting guys on gas at 632 right now.
I'm at 625.
Oh, wow.
Because I've been lagging a little bit.
It's understandable. So we are a little bit off sync.
But that'll just have to wait until HOTS. And HOTS needs to come faster.
I am
Oh,
going to
sir.
pause at the 7-minute mark, and you tell me when you hit it, and I will hit play.
Okay, will do. Alright, so we have 3 gateways coming up from SwansGoMoo along with the robotics facility. This is actually kind of a late robotics facility. And I probably shouldn't have started a spiel right before having to tell you to go, but you know what, whatever. This is a very late robotics facility, which is kind of interesting.
I think a lot of it is the confusion behind his failed attack.
his
Oftentimes
aggression.
you have a plan, and you think that, you want something to happen, and if it doesn't, then you're kind of in a little bit of a pickle. So really you want to find a good transition out of it, and I think this late robotics facility is a little bit of an awkward one.
Definitely. That being said, we see him spending all of his Chrono Boost, which is definitely very important. We see way too many people in all sorts of leagues just not spend Chrono Boost. It's very annoying.
Oh yeah, it's such a great utility that Protoss has, and it should be used constantly. It should be just like Queen energy, and it should be just like Orbital Command energy. It should be very low unless you're planning, some sort of big crazy attack where you want to Chrono Boost all your gateways at once, that sort of thing. And same thing for Terran if you want to save up some scans in case there are DTs out on the map or something like that. But other than that, you really want that energy to be extremely low, and that's going to make a huge difference.
Yep, and we have an observer now popping out and flying across the map as he begins to create immortals. He hasn't put down any indication that he wants to go into Colossus tech, which is perfectly fine. The mortals are actually spectacular against Marauders, whereas Colossus kind of suck. And as this observer pops into the base, we might see him have a sudden change of heart as he notices that it's primarily Marines now, and it's probably going to be primarily Marines for a little while. We have him powering up some add-ons with his factory, and then blocking his factory add-on with the barracks. Perfectly fine. And
so, here's the thing that I think is very important that this observer sees. The observer sees a lot of Marines, and it also sees a starport. So I think that Colossi actually isn't the absolute best decision. I think he should be going for the High Templar because he only sees 2 barracks with with tech labs on them. So Ghost production is going to be very difficult. So if he tries to transition into High Templar, which he has the Twilight Council, and he can get his Templar archives up, then that's going to be very strong. Whereas if he goes into Colossi, the starport infrastructure is already there, and Vikings can start to be produced. So I would kind of like to see High Templar out of SwansGoMoo, but it looks like he's just going to be going for a kind of gateway army with Immortals and... Oh, actually, no.
Templar he's building his Templar archives.
Well, he's doing exactly what I said he should.
Didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, well, production tab's so important. I was just so excited about my rant that I didn't see it. Oh, and wasting a lot of scans. He actually... Oh, he does get it. Wow. The Observer... 2 scans for Observer is not really worth it, to be honest.
Yeah. But I mean, once you put down the 1 scan, you need to catch it.
That's true, but at the same time, he's already seen everything you've got. Yeah. Really, the important thing for scanning and killing Observers is if you want to put down some sort of tech that's secretive, or if you want to move out across the map and have him not know where your army is. So we have the 2nd Observer going across the map. This one is going to be a lot more important to snipe off because it's going to be telling SwansGoMoo exactly where the Terran army is.
Let's see if it actually attaches itself to the Terran army. It looks like it's not going to. It's actually just going to go straight for the base and bypass the army completely, which is kind of interesting. We have this giant ball of gateway units. Zealots with charge are going to be extremely effective against this army, and it looks like High Templar Psionic Storm is just about to start. He's going to buy a little bit of time with the force fields, and then he's going to completely destroy the army, because that's kind of how he's going to roll.
Yeah, Terran player moving up into the 3rd base kind of did a pretty aggressive stem. A bit wasted considering how many sentries he saw.
Yeah.
And this is just a great play by SwansGoMoo. It looks like he's got his Guardian Shield up in anticipation, and his High Templar now have Storms, so the Terran player is in a very risky position.
Yep, we have 3 Storms now on the map. Let's see how he's going to spend them. It looks like the army is getting split up and sent into both the bases. And let's see how well the Protoss player can defend against this, and it looks like it's going to be very nice. There's a beautiful storm. Oh, so many Marines dying. Ugh. That was kind of painful.
Yeah, just great storms. As a Terran player, I would have backed up the second I saw those High Templar, but at the same time, Supaflyz is still doing a bit of damage, killing some sentries. There are no more storms on the map, but quite a bit of Zealots are going to be able to clean up this Terran army, and SwansGoMoo is going to be in an excellent position. You can see in that units lost tab, so many units killed. The only thing that's nice for Supaflyz is there aren't a lot of Stalkers, so he should run away with these medevacs, which he is doing. Oh, no, he's not. Well...
Yeah, he managed to get all of his medevacs but one away, I think. I think only one died during that engagement, which is very key.
Yeah, that's so important. You really do not want to lose that medevac count. That'd be so, so bad. But at the same time, Supaflyz got up his third base, and SwansGoMoo hasn't taken his. It looks like SwansGoMoo is now looking to go on the aggressive side, as he's kind of sending his units a little bit farther across the map.
Yeah, and we see a very important upgrade timing 2-2 coming up for our Terran player in just a few seconds, which is going to be extremely key in the defense of this, especially with 2-2 from the Protoss player being so far away. We actually have no storms. Now one storm with this army, which is not the amount of storms you want. There's actually 5 more Templar on the way, but none of them have the energy for a storm yet, and I don't know why he's trying to force an engagement here, because he really should not be.
Yeah, it looks like the Protoss player is going to be moving forward, moving to the side, deciding when to engage, and it looks like the time is not now. Just putting on some heavy, heavy pressure.
And there are the storms coming in from the side Templars, and oh my god, so many of the medevacs are now actually getting destroyed, which is very important, because we see all these units not quite getting healed up at the same rate they were before, but it really does not matter. There's just too much of a Terran force to fight too little of a Protoss one.
Yeah, that was kind of a terrible decision, because you can see at the same time, SwansGoMoo has taken a third. So what he did is, instead of just applying light pressure and taking a third, he did a very committal attack and take a third. And you don't really want to do that, because when you commit heavily, you really want to make sure you have enough units to do damage and to warrant that. And so losing your entire army and then having this vulnerable third is very risky. And in fact, I think Supaflyz is kind of almost doing the same thing. He's moving out across the map with his very, very small army, and I think he just needs to sit on 2 base and kind of strengthen up. But I do like that he did pick off that observer.
Here we have a drop coming into the main base for Supaflyz, and this drop might be able to snipe off quite a few important tech structures, and there's not a whole lot of pylons in this area. So he might actually be able to shut down almost the entire building infrastructure for SwansGoMoo, because he has beautiful positioning against these Zealots, and they're all going to die, killing 1 Marauder, which is not exactly the amount of damage you want to do. He's not quite targeting his damage yet, as an attack goes on at the front of the Terran's base, and a lot of the Terran is getting wiped out. But still, this is quite important. A lot of actually the tech infrastructure for SwansGoMoo is dying. There goes the High Templar archives, but here come all of the Zealots that have been pooling up in the mineral lines to wipe out that drop, as the main attack on the front of the Terran base does get killed.
Yeah, so overall, I would say that Supaflyz is kind of in the better position here.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing I was very surprised about, as we see Supaflyz dropping in the natural to pick off some more probes, one thing I'm surprised about is SwansGoMoo didn't have any more High Templar with his army. And Storms is really the biggest advantage he has at this point. There are no ghosts on the map. In fact, I don't even see a Ghost Academy. And honestly, you have to have ghosts against High Templar. It's just a fact. You can't really deal with storms that effectively when you just get blanketed, unless you have like godly Tejas splitting. So I'm shocked that Supaflyz has been able to hold on this well, and I'm shocked at how little SwansGoMoo has actually made use of his High Templar.
Well, I mean, he just lost his Templar archive, so that was a big hit to the amount of Templar he's going to be able to produce. However, he does now have 6 on the field, and they are going to be heading across the map. Along with that, the heavy aggression that was kind of looks like it was about to be put on by Supaflyz. He actually morphed like 3 Archons in his third base. SwansGoMoo did.
Oh yeah.
So that's 6 Templar that you're not going to have later in the game, which is almost never something you want to do. And it looks like we have a little bit of a Marine squad heading over to snipe the High Templar, but they're not able to do the damage that they really wanted to. It's like a crap ton of medevacs.
Oh yeah, absolutely, tons of medevacs. And see, one Ghost could EMP all those High Templar clumped up like that. and then this engagement would be so incredibly different. In fact,
Yeah,
we have the Terran Army moving forward.
Oh my god, all
Huge
the
storms going on.
Completely destroying the Terran Army. That was disgusting.
Oh yeah, just absolutely terrible for Supaflyz, although now that the Templar energy is out and Supaflyz macro is so strong, he is able to move forward with another large force. However, he's not really didn't really do any stutter stepping versus Zealots, and now the Archons and Stalkers are doing a lot more damage than they should be. But it looks like Supaflyz has too much.
10 or 15 seconds ahead of you, and it looks like Supaflyz is about to get cleaned up, along with most of his medevacs. Only 3 are actually surviving from that large clump that got sent north. And he only has, 7 remaining out of the 9 he had, and 4 of them are new. So that was definitely a lot of damage dealt. So that SwansGoMoo is now in kind of crisis mode production. And right now he's just producing High Templar, which you don't want to do without a solid wall of Zealots, because then so many of them just got completely destroyed. And Supaflyz actually telling SwansGoMoo what he did wrong.
Yeah, bad warp in it.
Yeah. It's not always the most manly thing to do.
Yeah.
Alright, Godoy, thank you. Thank you for commentating with me. Where can people find any of your other videos?
Well, if you'd like to check out my videos, you can of course head on over to youtube.com/user/KadoinkStudios, and on top of that, I'm the official caster of non-esports, and that's where a lot of my focus has been lately. So you can go to youtube.com/user/non-esportsofficial, or just go to my YouTube channel and you can find your way to the non-esports channel through that. And those are the things I'm doing, and that's where you can check me out.
Yep, and if you guys want to watch any of the other videos I've been doing lately, you can head over to youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. Also, because I do primarily and actually only community replays, you can send in any replays you want commentated into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. And also, Kadoink, you might just want to clarify that all of your non-esports casts are on the non-esports channel, because it took me forever to find them. I was like, oh my god, why aren't they on his channel? Where are these things?
Oh, yeah. They're definitely on the non-esports official channel.
I'm also kind of stupid, but
No, you're not. I should have made that clear. But yeah, I cast community games and pro games on my channel, and then non-esports games on the non-channel.
Yep. Alright, so anyway guys, this is Boisterous.
This is Kadoink.
Signing out.